from Timbuktu. You know, you see this. I don't even think this is an actual representation. The water in the Bahamas looks literal. Even when you see it from air, you'll think like it's a painting. But I tell people, when you go back to history, the very first human being was discovered in East Africa, in Kenya. So anybody that lives outside the continent of Africa is an immigrant. I got to my Airbnb. You know how conservative we are. We come from a very conservative society. My very first Airbnb host, so when you got I gave the contact to the driver that picked me from the airport.
Exactly.
So when my Airbnb host picked me up, he was bare chest. He had a good chest though. Like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to be in the Caribbean to swim again. I kind of feel like I got some sort of liberation in the Caribbean.
Sure. Psychological?
All aspects of life.
All aspects. Hello, my name is GoSeeAfrica. I'm a traveler and a YouTuber from Kenya, Africa. With me is the best content creator we have in Africa. What's her name?
African Tigress.
What inspired you to head to the Caribbean?
You know, it was a dream. The Caribbean had always been my dream. If you watch my videos from back in the days, in fact, when I started content creation, even before I even made or became friends with some people in the Caribbean, I made a video with my sister and we were talking about things like in our bucket list. And one of them was for me, I said, I want to visit Haiti. I can't even remember myself saying that, but I did say that video back in the days when I was starting. I mentioned I want to visit Haiti, I want to visit Jamaica and all that. Like I mentioned Trinidad and Tobago. I mentioned a number of islands in the Caribbean. I'm going to send you a link to that video. And my sister mentioned that she want to visit Jamaica. She said she would also want to visit the Caribbean because of how the people are like more free-minded. And she said she wanted to wear like, we come from a pretty much conservative society.
Yeah, I know.
So my sister mentioned that she wanted to visit, I think she said Jamaica. I'm not so sure, but I think she said Jamaica. And she wanna dress and dance like how they dance,
what you see. Did she come to achieve all that?
No, she hasn't.
She hasn't.
But next year I'm bringing them
to the Caribbean.
Next year I'm bringing my family to the Caribbean.
She must be the happiest person on earth.
Yeah, next year I'm bringing my family. I want them to experience the dreams they had.
By then you talked about Haiti. Did you know anything about Haiti?
What I knew about Haiti is at that point is one of these places we were told that we shouldn't visit. And I'm that kind of person who just doesn't follow that.
Several years ago.
Yeah, it was several years ago.
Before you headed to Haiti, all I knew about Haiti was the earthquake way back 2010.
And that is what I knew. And every time I talked about Haiti, that's what everybody told me about Haiti. And when I visited Haiti, oh my goodness. Like when I was in Bahamas and I realized there was flights to Haiti. I was like, I'm going to Haiti. And then I met some few Haitians in the Bahamas and they told me, I was like, oh, so it's possible to visit. Oh, there's flights and there's actually people who are living and breathing. As long as they're still alive, I'm also going to be alive. So I was like, I'm booking this.
You didn't know anyone in that land?
Nobody. I just Googled a couple of videos and all that. I didn't know nobody when I went to Haiti.
But you knew something about the language barrier in that land?
Je parle un peu français. I speak a little French. So somehow, I've been to Portuguese-speaking countries. I've been to French-speaking countries. I've been to countries that don't understand English. And one thing I can tell you for sure is like, people are kind. You'll speak through sign language or whatever way you manage it. Good people are good people anyway.
Yeah,
And
you find a way to communicate.
Oh yeah.
So what was your first country to visit in Haiti?
The first country in the Caribbean?
Yes, and did it meet your expectations?
The first country on 1st December 2023, I landed in Barbados. Yes. And oh my goodness.
Yeah, I remember you visiting Rihanna's place and all that.
Even before that, as we were landing, I was in the no-growth flight.
I wanna prove to you that I do watch you.
Yeah.
You flew there. You saying North Airline?
Yes, North Atlantic. Yeah.
Exactly, the first flight.
Yeah.
From where? It was from Europe.
From London.
From London, yeah, exactly.
From Gatwick Airport. Yeah, and we were welcomed by the Prime Minister.
Damn.
We were shaking the Prime Minister's hand.
Of course, you are
as we were getting, and I'm like, I didn't know like that was the inaugural flight. I was like, oh, the name. Like, this is how they welcome people in the Caribbean. This is where I belong.
That's where you belong.
Yes, I got into the island. Even before getting to the island, they welcome. And I've never been in a country where you received and you're getting a goodie package or something. So they gave us some ram, they gave us some chili sauce and all that. You know, Barbados invented ram. So like I was getting all these, and then when I went, because I talked to my Airbnb host in Barbados.
Yeah.
And I'd asked him, how much am I gonna pay from the airport? So I think my Airbnb host, I'm not very sure, but I think the parish was Christchurch. He told me it was gonna be about, I'm not so sure if it was 25 or 35
dollars.
I can't remember, to be honest. Yeah, but I'm not so sure if it's Bajan dollars or US dollars.
Yeah.
But when I went to the airport, once I got out, my taxi driver even quoted less. Yeah, I was like, oh, I like it. The people here seem honest, because my Airbnb host mentioned this, and this person is charging me about $5 US less. So it simply means nobody's like really taking advantage of me,
they are not,
despite the fact that they can hear my accent and all that. So I was like, oh, this is really good. I'm glad.
This is home.
Yeah, and they took me in, and I rested the first day, and culture shock. So I got to my Airbnb. You know how conservative we are. We come from a very conservative society. My very first Airbnb host, so when you got I gave the contact to the driver that picked me from the airport.
Exactly.
So when my Airbnb host picked me up, he was bare chest. He had a good chest, though.
That's a man?
It was a man, yeah. It was a man. It was a man that picked me from the
we need to go to the gym.
My Airbnb host was a man.
Yeah.
And he picked me, like when he got me from the gate from a cab driver.
Yeah.
He hugged me.
So you felt the chest. First impressions. First impressions.
And he was well built. I must say, like well built, very mass.
I'm going back to the gym tomorrow.
Great muscles, and I was like, okay, you know, like if I'm meeting you and you're hosting me, first of all, you know, if I'm going to come, no, it doesn't matter whether you're bare chest, you're gonna put something on for you to welcome me to your premise. So this was different. It was a different culture. I liked it.
It was arranged that guy to be there.
No, he's the owner.
He knows that. Oh, he's the owner?
He was the owner of the Airbnb.
Damn.
Yeah. He was the owner of the Airbnb.
Keep going. I know you have a lot to say.
So when I met him, the first thing is like hugging me when he's bare chest. Where I come from, would say you hugging me when you're naked.
You're naked.
Yeah, like where I come from. But thank goodness, even before visiting the Caribbean, I traveled so much, so I had so much exposure, so I didn't take it personal or disrespectful.
But you being an African, and you know, Africans, we are so much conservative. the dress code. You never feel anything?
No, because before going to the Caribbean, I'd already traveled to maybe about 30 countries.
Oh yeah.
So for me, going there and
It
experiencing
wasn't a
that,
shock.
and because when I started my travels, you don't know, like some of the places I used to stay in hostels. And I did stay in some countries and places where I stayed in hostels, whereby maybe you have a 4-bedroom and maybe you're the only female and you're surrounded with male, or you could be like 2 females and 2 males, or you could be like 3 females and 1 male. And so you just see somebody changing. Like,
yeah. Chances of meeting someone at the bathroom naked.
People, yeah, it's nothing. No feelings, no emotions, no nothing. Like, it's like nothing. Like, it doesn't matter what you see, big, small, whatever. Like people are very confident
From
in
today
their bodies. To be
henceforth.
honest, one thing it taught me is to be confident in my. I'm one of those people that even if I had like a gynecology appointment or medical appointment, I used to feel back in the days I could feel insecure about that.
You wish
like,
you could request for a lady to attend you?
Not necessarily. Nobody.
In
short, like I just didn't want anybody to see that. Like,
that's your private space.
Yeah, I felt that. But right now, I really don't care. Like, honestly, I don't
like
that thing about nudity, because I traveled to Europe and I'd been to the beach and people are like very nude, like literally nude. You see, no pants, no bikini, no nothing. So you see them nude. So by the time I was visiting the Caribbean, it wasn't a shock for me. Because when I was in Europe and seeing all these countries, going to the beach, a normal beach, and you just see some people, they have no pants, they have no bra, and they're just walking. Nobody is staring at them, apart from you, who's a tourist and foreigner coming from Africa or from Kenya, that can be kind of a very conservative and closed society. So, my travels have taught me a lot. So it has taught me to be very confident in myself, to be like, I'm not ashamed. I don't care about people's opinion about what. I don't care about that. I don't feel insecure about me, my nudity.
Yeah.
Like embracing myself. Like
I don't
even want to go too deep in it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our culture, especially, nakedness is like, even when you're a kid and you're naked, you'll be like, and then you'll be like, even as a kid, you want to hide yourself, you know that?
Yeah.
So, like, we've been raised in a society where we feel like our nudity is a shame.
Yeah, true. Because, for an African, especially for an African man, once you get circumcised, you're not supposed to mingle with. They did not supposed to go naked before your mother, your sister, your auntie, and all that.
Even to the point, yeah, I understand that, but even to the point that I feel it's kind of extreme. Even to the point that, like, even growing up, even to your partner, do you know how many people even make love in darkness?
Partners?
With their partners. You know that. Some people make love in the darkness.
Comment there if you do it in the darkness.
Some people do that because they kind of just feel insecure. Like, we've been raised to feel like our bodies is something we should be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Not something that we should embrace.
They are not confident about themselves, their body.
Yeah, not something that we should embrace. But we've been raised like we should feel like our nudity and our nakedness is something we should be ashamed of.
That's it.
And also culturally, we'll be also, I don't know about you as a man, but even as women, we've been raised in a manner to feel that our bodies are meant to, no, not really special, but our bodies and culture, and like our culture is like our bodies are just meant to satisfy the man. Like, nobody ever teaches a woman about them getting that satisfaction from engaging in vertical and horizontal engineering. saying. Tell me. Yeah, I don't know about you, but a lot of females have been raised culturally as if our role is just to make men satisfied.
To please some man, to satisfy a man.
Yeah, once a man is satisfied, we don't know about us being happy and us being pleased. So all we thought about is pleasing the man.
But
Nobody teaches us about us
male
getting
chauvinism.
That's the culture.
Men think they are so special, and that's why the society has taught us to be like we have been groomed to be the heads of the family. So we think you are more special than you ladies.
Yeah, in the sense that, so some of the things I've learned, men feel they're special than that. Even relationship and socialization, it's as if man is king and we follow.
Yeah.
And then if you're not like that, you kind of feel like you're an outcast.
You have been to the Kenyan coast severally. Do we have the same behavior we have at the Caribbean and other countries? No, coast, it's very different. Very different.
No, it's not the same as the Caribbean. So one thing I can say about the Caribbean, I kind of learned a bit of it from traveling in other parts like in Asia and Europe, but also in the Caribbean, I also came to learn about for instance, when you talk about the carnival, or we can call it cadomment, like in Barbados or Sugar Mass or Jamaica Carnival. Like every island has a different way of calling their version of carnival. And one thing I came to learn is that there is no shame in being who you are.
In the Caribbean.
Even the women. Like you see how in Africa people body shame people so big. Okay, in Africa most of the time people actually like, depending on the culture, especially in Kenya, some people like bigger ladies and some,
Baby
in fact,
W.
in Africa,
I like my girl, Baby W.
You see? Yeah, in Africa there's that. But like in the Caribbean, I saw people like in the carnivals and all these festivities, being at the beach and all that. Even in Kenya, there's some outfits you'd wear at the beach and people would look at you as if you're naked. But you're not naked, really. But they would look at you in such a way. But one thing I learned about the Caribbean, they embrace everybody. There's no shame in being yourself. People live their life out loud. Live your life out loud. Like people
they don't care about the surroundings.
60, 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever. They'd be in the beach with their bikinis and living their life free.
They don't care.
And they don't feel insecure. They don't feel like, one thing I like about visiting the Caribbean generally, it kind of kills that kind of things that you felt like you should be insecure of. Like that kind of, I don't know how to call it. Some Africans might not really like it, especially men, because for men it works to their advantage, because I kind of feel like culturally we're raised to fulfill the desires of men. In Africa, women are raised to fulfill the desires of men. But nobody ever thinks about like a woman also has desires. And so I like the fact that it allows you as a woman to embrace, first, love yourself, love your body, and second, live your life. Yeah. But generally, if you grew up in certain communities and cultures in Africa, it's as if your role as a woman is just raised to serve a man, because a man is king.
The king.
Even if he's an a-hole, he's still a king.
The king.
Yeah, there's men who are kings, really. I love my kings.
But in Africa, whether you are the president or not,
and you could be the worst man, you could be the drunkard, the village drunkard and everything. Yeah. But you'd expect to be the king and be embraced in whatever way. So honestly, for me, like nothing can ever take from what I've learned from my travel experiences and adventures.
I'd be so happy if I met with the tigress and she's kneeling down to greet me.
You see? Because you've been dressed like that.
Of course.
Especially, like some communities, even like in Uganda, like the Baganda Kingdom, I think, they do like, if I was to serve you a meal, even you you could be drunk as F and you came here,
Exactly.
and I wanna give you a glass of water. I have to go to my knee on my knees and I'll be like,
Yeah, now
and
next time be
and
doing
then now
like
you me
that. Behave like that next
over
time.
my dead body. over my dead body.
Comment there, guys.
I'm going to kneel to serve nobody. Only God.
Only God.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And the only time I would ever kneel is to tie my son's shoelaces.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a son, a child, and male child or female, and I have to tie their shoelaces, my son or my daughter, then I can tie their shoelaces.
I won't ask whether you'll ever get married or you are married or not, but you can't tie your husband's shoelaces.
If he ties mine, I would tie his.
A revenge?
It's not revenge. Like, it all depends on how a person treats you. Like, if he ties my shoelaces, or he helps me do my hair, or like there's some little signs here and there, I wouldn't mind.
Damn.
I wouldn't mind
to let that slide. I want you to mention only 10 Caribbean countries.
10? You want me to mention 10?
Only 10. Okay,
I'll start with the countries, or you also want islands that are not, like, some are still owned by the British, French, and US. So I'll mention the ones that are not. So we have, I'm gonna start from south, close to very South America. So I'll start with Trinidad.
Exactly.
Then I'll go to Grenada. We have SVG, St. Vincent and Grenadines. We have Barbados.
St. Vincent
and Grenadines.
I thought you said St.
No.
Kitts.
We have Barbados. We have Antigua. We have St. Lucia. We have Dominica. We have St. Kitts and Navis. We have Jamaica.
Yeah.
We have Haiti, Haiti, Sherry. We have
sing that song.
Haiti, Sherry. I've already mentioned more than 10.
Yeah,
we have
sure.
we have Cuba.
Though you never mentioned my country, Bahamas.
The Bahamas, of course, because it's the closest to the US. I started from the very south.
Yeah.
But the closest to the US is the Bahamas. Because in the very north, the most northern part, island of the Bahamas, you can actually see Miami lights. So I was just starting from the south. We have the likes of Belize. We have the islands like, some are still British territories.
Belize is in the Caribbean?
No, sorry, not Belize. Bermuda. I was to say Bermuda. Yeah, I was to say Bermuda. We have Turks and Caicos. We have Cayman Islands. We have Anguilla. We have St. Bass. We have U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands. We have.
She is officially a Caribbean
I know all of them. I know all the.
I think you know more about the Caribbean more than your own continent, Africa.
Oh no, I also know. Remember, before I started traveling, I started from the continent of Africa.
I know.
I can list all the 54 countries in Africa.
Damn.
I've been to all East African countries, except from 2. I've been to all Southern African countries, except from 2. I've been to West Africa. I've been to most of the African countries. Before I traveled to the rest of the world, I started with my home country, my home continent.
The only country probably you haven't visited is Southern Sudan and Somalia.
In East Africa, yes.
In East Africa.
I haven't been to Somalia and South Sudan.
South Sudan.
Yeah, but if you're from South Sudan, if you're from Somaliland or Somalia, I would love to visit.
Mogadishu is right. It's good.
I know Somaliland is safer, but if I have someone watching me from Mogadishu and you can assure me of 100% safety, yeah, then I would love to visit Somalia. Maybe I'm also brainwashed. I don't know, maybe it's not as bad as it's put out there in the media, but I think the biggest difference is religion, because I think when you're visiting those countries, there's a certain way you have to dress.
Exactly.
And they kind of have a certain way you have to look. If
I
don't look like that, they would easily suspect that I'm a foreigner. And then I don't know what would transpire. But in some countries, when you visit me, even in the Caribbean, they don't know that I'm not from the Caribbean.
You are at home. The
They
skin,
call
the
me
same, the
Yaga. They call
language, the
me.
difference.
They say,
very
"Oh,
small.
we thought you Tobagonian. Oh, I thought you're from the Bahamas." So I thought, like when I'm in these islands and walking in the streets, if I don't talk to nobody, nobody knows I'm from there. I'm not from there. Yeah, so they all assume I'm from there.
And so far, which is your most visited country in the Caribbean?
The one I've been to most,
Trinidad.
Trinidad and Jamaica.
Trinidad and Jamaica. Which is your favorite so far?
Hard to pick.
Hard to pick.
Every island presents different
Something unique.
vibes. Yeah, there's things I love about Trinidad. There's some things I love about the Bahamas. Oh, the Bahamas, of the islands I've been to, the Bahamas has the best waters. Like, hands
The
down.
Bahamas?
I've not been to every island. Like
More than, I think in your videos, I got to love Antigua.
Antigua is beautiful too. The difference is I'm not an expert. I'm not an island girl. I'm not an expert swimmer. So the Bahamas has shallow waters and lots of sandbags. So I could swim for so long or go into the deep sea, not like really deep sea, but deeper into the water without sinking. But apart from that, in terms of the shade of color, you see this. I don't even think this is an actual representation. The water in the Bahamas looks literal. Even when you see it from air, you'll think like it's a painting, but it's not a painting. Like literally, that's how beautiful the waters in the Bahamas look. They're like turquoise. It's like a shade of turquoise blue. It's just an enticing. Like from even if you're watching me this, go to your Google Maps and search the Bahamas, or even search the world map, and then search the shades of water.
I want you guys to comment.
Even Google Map, especially if you check the satellite version, you realize the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos.
It's blue.
Like it's just a very enticing, inviting shade of blue. Like it's very unique. I've not seen it anywhere else in the world. Like it has a certain shade. I can't put. Yeah.
And
so if you are not, Antigua is beautiful. When it's coming to what I'm speaking about myself, who's not an expert of swimming.
Yeah.
Remember, Bahamas comes from the word Bahar. I think it's Bahar Mar, which means a place of shallow waters. So, for someone who came from Bara, I can't call it Bara.
You mean no
up country?
Up country.
Meaning there was no beach, no nothing. Yeah, it's not like village really. You can be in a village, but your village has access to the sea and ocean.
Yeah, sure.
But simply means like I didn't come from a place that I learned swimming as a child. So if I'm in a place with waters that I feel like very safe, I love that. I've learned my skills. I've tried learning how to swim, and over time, I feel like every time I'm in water, I'm improving my skills. And people are like, "But you said you don't know how to swim. How did you do that?"
Today you did better.
How come you went all the way and came back on your own? I was like, I don't know. Yeah, like I'm learning, but I'm not very confident.
I was to comment about the same. Anytime you are swimming, you have to dive. You have to make sure your head inside the water. You are very good swimmer whenever your head is inside the water. Yeah, underwater.
Yeah, I swim better underwater than above. But right now, I've learned. Yeah, I would have posted a video. I mean, throughout my travels in the Caribbean, these videos I've not posted, including some that I posted recently, and people thought I was in that country, but it was actually an hour video. But like now, I've improved my skills of swimming, so I know how to necessarily.
You got a trainer?
No, because I just go to a place that's shallow and that I know, and I'm with my friends, and I'm not swimming away from them. I'm swimming to them, and I'm like, hey, I don't know how to swim. Let me try this, and I practice every time as long as I'm not in a place that's in case I panic or whatever, I'm not going to panic and try to put my feet down, and I can't put my feet down and drown. No. So I always go to a place, maybe the water, the maximum reaches in, and I try. I feel like I've swum in places. Like when I came back to Africa several months ago, when I went to Cape Verde, I swam in a deep place. Oh yeah, like a place my feet couldn't touch down. But initially, before going to that place, I was like, oh, let me hold to the float. And then eventually, when I left the floater, they were like, you told us you couldn't swim. I was like, no, I don't know how to swim. I'm still practicing. Yeah. So I feel like I'm getting better and better. And every opportunity, like the next time I'm in the Caribbean, I'm totally going to go for swimming. Like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to be in the Caribbean to swim again, to access those. Like, generally, the whole Caribbean has beautiful waters. Yeah, like waters. Especially the sea waters. The rivers are also beautiful. Even the rivers, islands that have rivers, the rivers are way beautiful. Like so beautiful than any river I've seen in Africa.
Have you seen rivers in your videos?
Jamaica. We cooked in the river.
Portland?
Yes.
And in Portland?
And we cooked in the river. In the river, and it had a waterfall. I cooked matoke for them.
I remember. You are the one who cooked. I remember.
Yeah. Haiti. Yeah.
Was that a river or just a stream?
That's a river. So the rivers have...
That was so small.
But do you see how beautiful the water was? I thought it was just a gully. No, it was deep. The bluer the water, the deeper it is.
Oh.
Yeah. So you really have to be a good swimmer to be able to manage such places.
Now, the country you are...
Even in Haiti, Bassin Blue. Bassin Blue. Hey, that place was beautiful. In Haiti.
Haiti, I think I watched your Haiti.
Did you see the video where we went to a waterfall and these people are helping me to swim?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a river?
That's a river, and then it falls to become a waterfall. Like, what makes waterfalls is rivers,
honestly, no, it's just a stream, a gully.
It can be a gully, stream, or whatever, but they are mostly rivers. But
it was beautiful. I agree with you.
Yes, so they have, I don't know why our rivers and waters in Africa are mostly brown.
Yeah, exactly. So I expected, when you're talking about a river, to be the size of at the river, Nyando.
No, you're speaking about major rivers.
Yeah, major rivers.
Yeah, but that's not the case. And also the difference is maybe like because our rivers really don't have that shade of blue.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, our rivers are like a different shade and, you know.
Yeah, this country you are filming the birds, that was Antigua.
Birds?
It was Antigua.
What kind of birds?
Birds.
They're all over the Caribbean. That was
the national birds. The national birds of that land. That's what Antigua.
The national bird of Trinidad and Tobago is the hummingbird.
But still, in Antigua, you are filming something like that.
They have hummingbirds as well, and as well as in Jamaica. The one you saw me feeding the birds, that was in Tobago.
No, not about the feeding, but you are watching them above the something. You cross the ocean to some island, then to
go that was in Barbuda.
That was Barbuda?
Yeah, frigate. I think the bird is called.
Yeah, the frigate.
I don't know if it's called frigate or something. Yeah, I've forgotten. Yeah, I've forgotten the name of the national bird.
Mm-hmm. But the same birds. We have
that's Barbuda. Mm-hmm. The beach, that one that we went, Princess Margaret. Exactly. Oh my Lord, that beach is. My only weakness is I'm not a good swimmer, but even staying on the shore, even looking at the water, like I could literally sit there every sunset and just watch the water and the sunset and just swim on the shores where I can manage. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was in a certain place in Kenya, Congo River. I don't know whether you've ever
been to Congo River.
We have the same birds there.
The ones that have the thing.
Exactly. If you ever take that boat ride to where we have the shrines and all that.
I've never done that.
Yeah, you need to take a boat up the river. They have those birds.
What do they call them here?
They gave them some different names, but the local names. Because the residents there are Mijikenda people.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Wow.
I didn't know that. I don't know we have those birds here, but that's lovely.
They are here. So, you being so much into Caribbean, I guess for the last 2 years, you are
traveling. I went first to the Caribbean first December 2023.
Oh, I'm only counting 2023 and 2024, so it's only 1 year.
Yes, 1 year. Just 1 year in the Caribbean.
Yeah. So far, do you think, because we refer, Caribbean is part of Africa, I believe that.
The 6th region.
Yeah, the 6th region. Do you think there will come a time maybe you will live in the Caribbean or you will invest in the Caribbean?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Watch. I'm not gonna say so much. I'll just say watch. Watch the steps. Watch the movement. You go where you feel happy. Yeah. Good. I kind of feel like I got some sort of liberation in the Caribbean.
Sure. Psychological?
All aspects of life.
All aspects. Would you mind sharing with me?
Be it socially, like how. Let me ask you. Do you know who your neighbors are? Your next door neighbor?
I don't know my next door neighbor.
Exactly. That would never be in the Caribbean.
Were they?
Even me, where I was staying.
On a serious note, my next door neighbor doesn't know nothing about GoSeeAfrica. They don't know me.
Exactly.
And we have never exchanged contacts.
Even me, my apartment in Kenya, I never knew my neighbors. Especially here. Mm-hmm. And also, like, in Kenya, in the city, Nairobi, you're a man, you're different. But I feel like as ladies, most of the time, if somebody approaches you and they're like, hi, a lot of times you're trying to avoid them. Because you don't know what their next move
intentions.
Is. Because they could be we've been told about this perfume that people spray and then just someone says hi and you lose your memory and you give them your passwords and all that. Mm-hmm. And you lose your everything and all that. Mm-hmm. But or some people would do that and the next moment you realize you have nothing.
No, nothing.
So in Kenya,
that's said in Nairobi you don't shake hands.
Yeah, I don't even shake hands. Like
we don't.
Yeah, I will do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We don't shake hands and we don't like really talk to people.
Nairobi has gone very twisted.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of different. In the Caribbean, when I was walking in the streets, even in narrow streets and corridors, and people would say like, in the evening, they say good night, good night. Good night is a greeting. In Kenya, it's like go to sleep, yeah. But in the Caribbean, good night is like good evening. Yeah. So if you hear somebody in the Caribbean telling you good night, yeah. Even when you see it in the comment section of my videos, it doesn't mean the person is going to sleep. If they say good night, African
they're only greeting him.
No, they're greeting me.
Oh, that's different.
And
that's culture shock.
Yeah, they'll say like, hi, hello, how you doing, and all that. Yeah, like people are more sociable in the Caribbean. That's based on my experience. Maybe if somebody from the Caribbean visited Kenya, they might have a different experience. Because when people would pick the accent, maybe they might treat them different. Mm-hmm. But here in Kenya, I actually did have an incident. I'm kind of ashamed to speak about it. There's a time I was with one of Africa's also popular. I was with Steve Ndoku, and he was in Kenya. Mm-hmm. So we were walking in the streets in Nairobi. We were on Mama Ngina Street. And then this lady came to me to embrace me like, hey, Africa.
She knew you?
She didn't say African tigress. If she said Africa, anyone who calls me African tigress, I know they knew me from social media. Yeah, so she was, oh, hey. So she was running, greeting, and like trying to greet and hug me. But because of that mindset that we have, like, hey, you don't know who that is.
You avoided her.
I avoided her. And she caught feelings. She was like, oh, wow, I'm your subscriber. Well, she said that, then I had to like apologize. and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know about. And she told me, oh, she's visiting Kenya. It's really nice. She's seeing me. Steve was also there. It was really nice. Because for me, when someone comes at me.
Oh, she wasn't a Kenyan.
She wasn't Kenyan. So it's just someone randomly approaching you and running towards you in the streets. We don't do that here.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah. So I was like, I was like,
who is this?
I don't know, maybe they have that perfume or whatever we've been told about. They're trying to be nice, perfume you, and then you will withdraw your money and give them. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then when she said that, then I like had to apologize and explain everything. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. She was like, yeah, I'm so and so and all that. So yeah.
Wow.
So I love us. I love our culture, but I hate there's some people who've ruined our society and culture.
Who do what?
Who've ruined it.
Oh, they have ruined it.
In the sense that now we kind of feel fearful of some things that should be so normal.
They make her not to be sociable anymore.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Caribbean food.
Wow.
So far, which country has the best food in the Caribbean?
That's very tricky.
So far, which country has their food is more related to what you find in Kenya?
Haiti.
Which food is that?
Haiti and Trinidad.
Trinidad, the pilau.
Yeah, because Trinidad, in Kenya we have pilau, biryani, and all that.
Yeah.
They have all that. Like coastal food in Kenya is also popular
So I once told someone that
Trinidad.
Most of I believe Trinis, they came from our coast. And because pilau is a Swahili word.
Like if you tell a Kenyan pilau is not Kenyan food, they're going to fight you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but and also Trini believe like pilau is their dish.
Is their dish?
Yeah, but it's kind of cooked
but
different.
Where did it come
from? A
from?
little different. I don't know.
But the name.
There was this
the name still remains.
There's this Trini that told me that time when I was talking about pilau, he was in Kenya and he said like, oh, I'm a Trini, I'm in Kenya. Pilau was from the east coast of Africa, so I don't know. That's what they said, so I'm not very sure. They said pilau originated from the east coast of Africa.
Yeah, that is Kenya,
and our
Tanzania.
Pilau and their pilau is kind of different. Yeah. For them to brown their pilau, they use beans. We don't use beans to brown our pilau.
Yeah, we don't use beans.
There's no beans anywhere in the equation of pilau in Kenya. Our pilau is brown minus beans.
I'm Trini to the bone.
Trini to the bone.
Trini to the bone.
I see
you still have your... I need to get mine as well.
I got this. Someone got me that.
Oh.
And Kenyan too. I have multiple. I have so many.
You still have a Jamaican.
Yeah, and I have Haiti. I have so many of these bands, different countries, but I can't wear everything. Someone needs to make me a CARICOM one.
What?
As a future CARICOM citizen.
Oh.
CARICOM, they need to put all the Caribbean islands. Make me a big flag that has all the CARICOM countries, because they have a bid. Yes, I can have all CARICOM countries in just one wristband.
But then I went ahead to look for such with every flag, but they couldn't make it.
Did you give them the design?
Yeah, but the flags were very complicated. I even made a video about the same, saying that I was like, and that video was like, oh, I have someone I wanna gift this this and this. I never mentioned the person.
I'm gonna send you a flag of CARICOM.
It never had.
I'm gonna send you a flag of CARICOM. If you get someone to make it, that's like about. It's gonna
I have someone who can make them, but the flags were very some of them were very complicated.
Like
send me that one.
You can get a big one like this, and then do it in half, like 7 on the top, 7 on the bottom. I think that would work. Like you see like a big one like this, and then you can separate it, and then you see like Jamaica, all you need in order to show Jamaica is this. You see this part? Yeah, so you can do something like that. And then do for like 7 on the top. I think it's about 14. I'm not so sure, but it's about 14 countries. 7 on the top, 7 on the bottom of a big band.
The carnival?
February, definitely. No, March. It's not February. It's March.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there.
Damn.
I definitely will be there.
I have a list here, so I have to confirm. Hey, tell me, what was your most memorable adventure or activity during your first trip to the Caribbean? Memorable. You just talked about it. You dining with the Prime Minister.
How?
That's a memory. Yeah.
Have
Them launching
like,
that.
Several moments are like big highlights for me. So many memorable.
You meeting the Calypso Queen.
Yeah, me meeting Alison Hines from Barbados during the Cadiment. Yeah, that was a highlight. Yeah, attending my very first carnival in my life ever. If you watch those videos from 2020 when my sister and I were manifesting, we manifested.
But all that came to happen.
We manifested attending a carnival at least once in our lifetime. Guess how many carnivals I attended in 2024 alone? 3. But when in 2020 with no resources, no nothing, I was just done with school.
Jamaica.
Yeah. Like I just been done with school and I was just trying to figure out this life. I knew one day attending a carnival was one of my dreams. Me and my sister. If you watch that video, that was in 2020. We just had dreams with no money. And thank God.
But now, the money is there. At least you have money to travel.
Yeah, I think I want to attend Sugar Mass, St. Lucia, SVG. I want to attend Grenada, Carico, Carnival. I want to attend like different carnival, Jack Mel. I want to attend different like. I thank God. To be honest, I'm really grateful. Jack Mel is in
Haiti.
Oh yeah, I see you know that.
I know that.
I see. Loyal fan. You know everywhere, yeah. Like I wanna be everywhere. Like I just thank God for all the opportunities and all the things I'm able to access right now because there's a time when all this was just a dream. Yeah. And like one day I would write a book. I'll keep saying that. One day I write a book.
You need to start now.
Yeah.
You need to start it.
Because when I tell people, lots of people don't know my story. They just think I just woke up one day. I was just this maybe average Kenyan girl who just decided to create content.
Yes.
But so many people don't know my story.
So far, they need to go back and watch the first video I did with you because almost the entire story is covered there.
Yeah, almost part of the story is covered there. But lots of people don't know. It's deep. People don't know my story. Like, that's why when I tell you, when people tell me things like, or even people wish me bad, or even some people see like, oh, she's gonna fail, her views are declining. They don't know who has elevated me.
God had a reason as to why.
They don't know who is my God. Because I see lots of people saying, oh, like, not lots of people. I saw the other day some people saying, oh, African tigress is jealous and all that. The same people who are saying they're jealous, right now, tell them book a flight to anywhere in the world. They wouldn't be able to do it.
They can't.
Tell African tigress to book a flight right now to anywhere in the world.
She'll be booking the next flight.
Immediately. What's the check-in time? 40 minutes. My only worry would be making it to the airport in time.
Yeah.
So
a village guy. You consider yourself a village guy or city guy?
I'm not really. I partly grew up in the village and partly in the suburb. Not city, but suburb. Yeah. But I see people sometimes they wish me bad. Sometimes people are like, oh, African tigress, oh, she's jealous, she's not getting the views, she's not. But African tigress, like, which African tigress?
She's still living a good life.
Like, which African tigress are you talking about? She's frustrated, she's not making views. It's because people have a mindset that people only have to make money from views and all that. And because people really don't realize, like, if when they go to my old videos, My
People are
videos,
still
my
watching.
videos get
They're
views.
still growing.
People watch my old videos.
You have
My old
investments
videos
as well.
have investment as well. So they're like, oh, African Tigress, oh, I don't compete with nobody. African Tigress is in no competition with nobody.
She's the only tigress we have in Africa.
Not even just that. Like, where I came from, I don't know if I covered much in the story that we shared previously with you, but God has elevated me.
Sure.
So when people like just sit and say like, or be nervous or sit and expect African Tigress to fail, they wait till their last breath because they don't know who my God is. My God is mighty.
Sure.
So I saw someone saying, oh, with these views.
I hope they are watching.
With this view, they're gonna watch, I know. Yeah. With these views, oh, your money is peanuts and all that, you're making peanuts because they think like, oh, African Tigress, oh, she just got 1,000 views, oh, she got 2,000, oh, she got 200, oh, she only got 500, oh, she only got 10,000, oh, only 20,000. How is she gonna afford this? Because they don't know the God that I serve. They don't know my God.
Amen.
I'm not a preacher, but they don't know my God.
I know, because I know part of the story. So whatever you're talking
really,
about, I know it's a serious thing.
God has really elevated me. And I believe it's because my biggest belief is doing right by people. I would never scam anybody. I would never take even one Kenyan shilling, which is like 0.001.
But I've never seen you ask for funding.
I would never steal from anybody. I would never like take your money, promise to deliver this and I don't, or just use you to make money. I would never. My conscience can never allow. My conscience can never allow me to do that.
It depends with your upbringing.
I thank God and my mom and my dad,
they were
my late dad. It's not about strict. It's just by teaching you like human values, like just to be humane. My name itself, like my official name, means humanity. So I would never. So sometimes that's why I'm like.
Mention your name?
You don't have to. Those who know. The ones who, if you know, you know. Yeah, but the thing is, God has elevated me. When God has elevated you, now I'll put you down. You know, there's this song, ukipigana na mimi nikuachie Mungu basi jua yako imeenda. Don't fight me.
You fight me.
I leave you. No, I leave you.
You lose.
To deal with God, not me. You're not dealing with me. You're dealing with God.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're fighting me, I don't need to fight you back. I leave you. God. I leave you. God
will fight for you.
Yeah, God will fight for me.
Let's talk about the challenges you traversing the entire Caribbean.
I
know you once encountered a challenge. What is that biggest challenge you always encounter whenever traversing the Caribbean?
Well, I think I love the Caribbean. I love the people, but I think sometimes they need to help the immigration. And that sometimes the people who are working with immigration, some of them still have this mindset and notion like as Africans, we're trying to immigrate and all that. Some of us are just there to appreciate your culture, and even if we decide to immigrate, some of us are actually going to bring money, invest our money that we've worked hard from somewhere else in the world to buy property in your island to spend in it. Some don't see that. Some of them just see as Africans as if we're trying to immigrate. So that's been a challenge in some islands, but they really don't realize, like, some of us really are great, make decent money, probably more than the average wage, way more than the average wage in the islands. Like, so even visiting, the amount of money we spend in the economy and the amount of money some of us would be interested in buying property and all that is actually an advantage for them. And for some of us from our audience, we've had people visit. I have messages I could show you right now. My friends, they're traveling different islands in the Caribbean. Not friends really, but let me say people who knew me on social media, right? They're traveling in different Caribbean islands, including right now. I know someone right now I could show you who is in one of the Caribbean islands, and the inspiration was from me. And those are people who reach out, and there's several other people who visit these places without necessarily telling me they want to visit because they saw me there. But there's those who would reach and they would tell me they want to, and they actually show me, hey, I just made it to Barbados today, you know. Yeah.
That shows you made an impact on their lives.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And how do you feel about this issue of some people in the Caribbean not believing that they were once Africans?
I honestly respect whoever wants to believe whatever they want to believe. But I'll tell people this. I was actually having this I chat with somebody in the United States the other day who said, oh, they're foundational Black Americans. I respect that. You choose to describe yourself as that. I respect that. But I tell people, when you go back to history, the very first human being was discovered in East Africa, in Kenya. So anybody that lives outside the continent of Africa is an immigrant. They might have their ancestors might have migrated 400 years ago.
But
their ancestors might have migrated. Remember, even before then, Africans sailed to America. If you even that's why, you see hurricanes, the movements, they never come back to Africa. They're always going to the Caribbean. Because the wind from when you take a boat from West Africa, in Cape Verde, it's going to sail you to the Caribbean. It won't sail you inward or towards it's gonna take you somewhere in the Americas. So even before Columbus discovered all these Caribbean islands in the Americas, my ancestors, Africans, were already sailing to America. So the people who decide not to identify as Africans or what, that's fine. I respect that. They'll tell me, oh, call me this, I'll call you that. I respect that. That's what you choose. I mean, we're in an age and generation where you choose to identify as whatever you want to identify. But at the back of my mind, I know that anyone living outside Africa is not native to wherever land they are living.
They are immigrants.
They're immigrants.
That's so deep.
You can't convince me any other way. Science and everything has proved that the original human being was from East Africa, to be specific.
Kenya.
So if you are living outside East Africa, doesn't matter whether you've been lived, your great-grandmother, greatest, whatever grandparents lived in the land. It doesn't change the fact that you're immigrant to whatever land you are living in right now. So, my children could go to wherever, I could have children in wherever land. It would be so ridiculous that after 400 years, or 500, 600, whatever years, my descendants would claim that they are native to the land. So, no, nobody's native. Even when you look at America, for instance, we have people who say, all the white people in America, they're European immigrants.
Wow.
So immigration is part of the human history, and we can't deny that. But I respect if somebody chooses not to identify as African or their roots to Africa, that's fine. But all white people, whatever race you are, your origin and your roots are in Africa. Africa is called the motherland for a reason.
For every person.
For every person.
And when a wise person talks, we don't add anything more. So, comment about the issue of us not having direct flights to the Caribbean.
That's really bad and sad because I might have it easier for me because I kind of feel like the truth is like right now flying to the Caribbean and these islands is highly dependent on socioeconomic status, in the sense that they're gonna look at your travel history.
Your
Some people might not
balance.
some people might not be interested in visiting Europe and the Americas in order for them to eventually get a
To the
flight or
Caribbean.
connecting to the Caribbean. Some people just want to go direct, but because their socioeconomic status may not allow them to use some routes, they may not be able to. So it's really so sad. I wish and I hope that we're gonna have direct flights to the Caribbean from the continent of Africa.
I feel the colonizer always make sure that we still have to go through them to get approval to visit our
It's not
brothers.
gonna approval because every time you're spending 2-3 hours in London, 2-3 hours in Amsterdam or
You are
wherever,
spending.
you're spending money. So they're making money. And they're paying landing fee, which is charged on your ticket. So they're making money.
Wow.
Yeah,
That business for them.
of course.
Wow. And there is something that I know that surprised you more about the Caribbean that you'd never expected. Something that surprised you more and still surprises you more.
Really not as much because it's a something that I've embraced. Like I mentioned, Alex, how free people are and how confident people are. To be honest, I love that. They're so confident. They're so confident in themselves, like less insecurities and yeah, like just the interactions and all that. I love it. It did surprise me, but it was just a cultural difference and yeah, I don't mind it. I love it.
Wow. Taking you back to the first video you just talked about, where you were having a discussion with your sister, and you talked about how you want to be able to impact the society, you want to be having influence. Do you wish to join politics at some point? Because that's the only way I feel for now, especially in your country, you can be able to directly change the society.
Back then, it was something I really wanted to do. I felt like the only way I could be able to have influence and impact and build the country was through politics. I actually did serve in the youth senate. We did, like I've done some things some people don't know about. Like people don't really know about me. Yeah, I actually did serve in some positions here in Kenya. Those who know, I don't have to really go into details about it.
Yeah.
And at some point, I thought I was going to go like for parliamentarian, and like even some point I thought about all the way. I didn't just lose. I can't say like, oh, I lost that dream. No, I didn't lose the dream. I just felt I could still make impact without necessarily being in political leadership. I felt like in order to have influence or be a leader, I don't have to be a politician. I can still have influence.
But then your platform is still big. You can influence it.
Yeah, without necessarily being... I can influence people and change without necessarily being a politician.
Like for now, we need to be on the forefront on talking about why we really don't need the reason we don't need passports to be able to move from one country in Africa to the other. Yeah,
I think that's one of the things that we really need to do. Having movement is of movement. One of the reasons I've only visited about 6 or 7 countries in West Africa, I would have loved to wake up and I'm waking up and I'm like, good morning from Timbuktu. You know.
I like her energy.
Yeah, I would have loved to just wake up and I'm like, good morning from Timbuktu. Yeah, but because of the I've tried visiting countries and it's really hard. So I'm really hoping at some point we can get to a position whereby we can be able to see and visit each other with much ease. Yeah.
That's it. Where is Timbuktu?
Mali. Yeah, I want to visit Mali.
Wow.
Mali.
Wow.
Mali. I want to visit Burkina Faso. You know, Yes, in
Botswana.
Mali.
No, you visited Botswana, but
Nah, I wish, but I will soon. Maybe next year when I come to Africa, I'll finish some countries in West Africa, depending on how access to visas, because I tried to do some when I've been in Africa the past couple of months. It didn't work out, so hoping next year I'll be able to visit some countries in West Africa.
Gambia.
I've been to the Gambia.
I've
been Gambia, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria,
Gambia is so beautiful. And if you have ever been to Gambia, you really don't need a Dubai.
Yeah. So the ones I've not been to is Mali, Niger, Benin Republic, Togo, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Mauritania, Guinea Conakry, Liberia. 9. I think I've just done about 7, and mostly to these countries. Like, there's just no ease of movement. Like, you can't just, sometimes it's easy to just visit the next country or 2 countries, skip a country, but I don't really have that luxury. So sometimes even when I get people like judging me for not spending so much in a country, I'm like, or not visiting a country, I'm like, you really don't know what I have to deal with to be able to visit that country.
It's a lot. The visa requirement.
Yeah.
Still finances.
Of course, accommodation and all that. And some of these countries don't even have visas. They don't have embassies in Kenya. So in order for me to get visas to visit their country, Ethiopia, I have to go to either Ethiopia or South Africa.
Yeah.
So if they don't have an embassy in Kenya, it's really hard.
Tigress. Yeah, they call it the Tigress. Yeah, I really enjoyed having a conversation with you, having a conversation with this beautiful lady here. You're beautiful. I
appreciate that. I always have a genuine, authentic. I don't think there's people that I actually have conversations or interviews with that we actually really go deep and dig to really understand the African tigress like I do with you.
Yeah, I know it's only through GoSeeAfrica you're able to come and open your heart.
You create that
environment. I know you have a lot you need to share with me, but for now, help me end the video.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you have any questions, don't be afraid. Feel free to ask them in the comment section. I'll obviously be watching and checking the comments. I'll be able to respond. And if you'd love me to be doing some random interviews with GoSeeAfrica, I'll definitely be doing that. Let me know if you would love us to do some live streams. More live streams, maybe?
Sure, live streams. We need to.
Yeah, we can be doing live streams with GoSeeAfrica. Africa. And if you're watching this from African Tigress, if you truly love and support African Tigress, this is my OG. This is my, I don't even know how to put it. This guy, he's amazing. He's very, very supportive of what I do. And I will always support him.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see you grow.
Thank you.
In fact, I told you I have something I'm working, to just try and help you elevate and go further. So we'll probably do that. And once I'm able to fulfill that, I will share that.
That's so
For now, let's just keep it that. So if you're watching, please go show him some love. He's working. Give him feedback, like not hate, but you can give positive criticism. And yeah, that's fine, yeah, and then we're gonna see you in the next episode. Show him some love. GoSeeAfrica.
Thank you.